Sorcerers! Josh here. And yes, it sounds like another reprint of Beta is on the way. If you have not had a chance to check it out yet, in the newest episode of the All Things Contested Realm podcast hosted by Kevmo was able to sit down with Simon for a lengthy interview at SorceryCon. And during that interview, Kevmo asked one of the most important questions for the community. Is Beta done? Or will another reprint be considered? And in response to that, Simon gave a very lengthy answer with a lot of explanation as to why they would consider a reprint and if they would do a reprint. But at the very end, he stated there would probably be another reprint of Beta. Now, before anyone gets upset and gets their pitchforks or their torches or runs out and puts their whole collection on the marketplace, I first encourage you to go listen to the interview. It is very lengthy, very detailed, and I think that anyone who wants to speak to the topic of a Beta reprint should hear the explanation that Simon provides, the things that they considered and that type of thing. So hopefully to encourage you all to do that, I am going to link the podcast in the description of this video. Please go check it out. And then digest it a little before making any wild decisions. So, that being said, Beta, another reprint. There's going to be a lot of people who do not like that. A lot of people who are perfectly fine with it. Myself, I fall into the camp of Beta is the player set. That's what it was designed for. Alpha was really the set that was meant for collectors. And the cost of an Alpha box right now clearly shows it was the collector set. That's not really the purpose of Beta. Beta was meant to get the cards into the hands of people to play the game. And yes, while Eric has been clear that they like collectability, and I'm assuming that by collectability, they also mean that they want the cards to have some value, to have, retain that, something like that. It's not Alpha. It's not meant to be a set where there are $1,000 cards. That was never really the purpose of Beta. The purpose of Beta was to get it into people's hands. And based on the interview, it sounds like Eric's Curiosa is still hearing from stores that they want Beta, that they need Beta. And one of the more important points that Simon makes is Beta really is the entry point to Sorcery right now. Arthurian Legends is a great set, but you need a lot of the cards from Beta, and people really like the Beta set. So it really is the entry point to Sorcery. And with the announcement that they were going to reprint the pre-constructed decks, when I heard that, I thought, well, then they have to be reprinting Beta, right? I don't know how the whole process works of actually putting together the pre-constructed decks in terms of manufacturing versus printing Beta boxes, but I don't know how they turn on the machines for one and not the other. Maybe they can. I don't know. So knowing, though, that there were pre-constructed decks, that announcement, I was like, there's probably a pretty good chance that Beta might come along. And now we have it. Beta is coming along. So, well, probably coming along. So, if you don't like that, if you're upset about it, I'm sorry. But again, whenever I looked at Beta, the way I've always thought of Beta is it is the player set. It's going to see reprints as much as needed. Now, hopefully it comes to an end. I don't want to see Beta reprinted for the next 5 years. But with the announcement at SorceryCon that Eric's Curiosa intends to create these introductory store kits to bring more stores into the game, to build playing communities, it only made sense that they'd want Beta to be available. Even myself, when I was trying to start a community here in my hometown, I waited until Arthurian Legends was available because I didn't want to introduce people to Sorcery with beta boxes at $200 or $250. And even when they came back down and the reprint happened, and I was like, it's too close to Arthurian Legends. I'm just going to wait. And that's what I did. And so if Ars Curiosa is going to make this aggressive push to create these introductory store kits, hopefully to do some type of PR, get the game out there into more players' hands, it only makes sense that they need to make sure that beta is on those shelves. Now, the good news is, in that detailed explanation that Simon gave, he did state that they are going to try to make this targeted in some way, that they want to be very cautious in how they implement the distribution of this reprint. And certainly, I think that also plays into the size of the reprint. So knowing all those things, that they're looking into all those things, I don't see any real issue with a beta reprint. It's a player set. We want more players. We need beta. End of story. And as long as they're not printing 100,000 boxes and giving it to individuals who have no intent to actually build the game, to build the playing community, I think it'll be okay. Now, the logistics of targeting the release of this product to, individual stores sounds really complex. I don't even know how they would necessarily make it work, especially if they're looking at new stores. How can they be clear of the intentions of a new store? If the new store gets this introductory store kit, and let's say it has a case of beta in it. I think the announcement was a couple of boxes of beta, but let's just say it's a case. Okay, maybe if that's all, you can do that. You can give this introductory store kit with a case to a store, and that's not going to be a problem. But then if one of those stores isn't on the level and decides to somehow get more of this beta product to flip or whatever, that's not the purpose of this reprint. So I like that Ars Curiosa is really thinking about this, and that they want the beta reprint to be targeted to growing the community. It just sounds like that's going to be a really, really hard thing to do. And I wish them the best of luck in figuring it out, because I'm not sure how you do it using traditional distribution models. It just isn't something that I'm certain can be done. And given what we've seen with the amount of product that was delivered to Singapore that then ended up in the US, I don't know. Where there's a will, there's a way. If there's a will to make a buck, a lot of times people find a way, unfortunately, even if it's at the expense of something else, like the health of Sorcery and its continued growth. But at the end of the day, we're getting another beta reprint probably. Hopefully it's not too large. Hopefully the targeting works out. If that's it for you, I will be sorry to see you go. But just remember, beta is the player set. If you're in this because you want to collect, you want high-end collectibles that have a high value, go to alpha. That's where you belong, at least for right now. Get the curios, whatever. Probably not beta curios. I don't know. I gotta think beta curios might take a drop. That would be my one thing I would like to see them do with this next reprint. There's no curios in it. It is a true player product. I think that would be cool. And I like that idea for future reprints. However long we go, that curios become something for that first launch of the set. That's just me. Keep them rare, keep that collectability, retain those people that really like that side of the hobby. Who knows? Oh, one last thing before I close out. Simon did mention also in that interview that there probably isn't going to be a reprint of Arthurian Legends. Right now, boxes are as cheap as they've been for a while. You can get cases for $600 plus tax. Well, if there's no reprint, I don't know. As much as I have struggled with Arthurian Legends, that's a little scary thought that there won't be a reprint of Arthurian Legends. So, just a little interesting tidbit there at the end. Beta is a player set. Keep on contesting the realm!